The self-absorbed and introspective post office, which we learn about from uh, Cameron today, this fellow Alistair Cameron, who's now the chief financial officer of the post office, he's quite right, self-absorbed and more determined to defend the reputation of the post office than it is to do the right thing, and hiding behind the legal process going on in order to avoid paying out, when he must have been aware that 900 sub-postmasters were wrongfully prosecuted. He says that that Paula Venables, who seems to have left just before he came in, was convinced that nothing had been done that was wrong. That everything she said at the time, she seemed clear in her conviction from the day I joined that nothing had gone wrong. And it was very clearly stated in my very first board meeting. She never, in my observation, deviated from that or seemed particularly to doubt that. It's the arrogance of power through and through. And now we learn that one of the senior lawyers who was intent on prosecuting people is refusing to appear at the inquiry, has fled to New Zealand. Well, you know, she won't appear by video link. She won't appear. Her name has disappeared from the Post Office Horizon IT inquiry schedule. Well, there we are. There we are. You know, rogues and vagabonds and people who are just going to brazenly deny things. I'm so looking forward to hearing what Paula Venables has got to say. But in a way, what is the point? All of this is taking up time. All of this is a distraction, really, from the duty that the government and the post office have to pay the victims of the post office scandal and to ensure that they have done the right thing in paying them back. But that's not what is taking priority. What is taking priority is this theatre, this absurd theatre, where the people who are the wrongdoers get an opportunity to parade their doubts and their anxieties and look as though they're being respectable and thoughtful about others, whereas in fact they all know that they have conspired in hurt, and they have their hands dirty. And because people have died, their hands are steeped in blood. I think it's a responsibility that must be taken by the post office itself. Now, today there's another story about the Royal Mail being sold, and Kemi Badenoch stepping in and saying, we've got to preserve our history, and we've got to look after this wonderful institution. Well, you know, it's all a bit late, because in the public eye, there is very little distinction between Royal Mail and Post Office Limited. They do the same job. They're part of the same thing. And she wants to make sure that whoever buys Royal Mail will guarantee its 6-day-a-week delivery. Well, it was only a short while ago that there was public discussion about reducing that 6-day a week to 4 days. So a foreign company can be demanded to produce the full rota of deliveries for 6 days, but a national company can shirk its responsibility. Because really, the national companies in Britain don't need to do anything. They don't need to take responsibility. We can get other people to do that. It's time Britain bucked its ideas up. It's time the business Britain bucked its ideas up and started to take responsibility for the money that it's making and take responsibility for the jobs it's doing. Because this constant passing of the buck and the overflowing of the complaints department in each industry is destroying our reputation for delivery, for basically doing the job. And we all might as well go off to New Zealand and hide for the good that we are actually doing in this country. We should be rising up and saying, this is wrong. How can we sit here and listen to this rubbish in an inquiry when people are not being paid? How can we sit here and listen to the rubbish and the hand-wringing when people who have been infected with blood because the government, doesn't matter whether it's this one or the previous one or whatever political colour of the government, it doesn't matter, the people in authority tried to cut corners with people's lives. And it's not so much about who is blamed as ensuring that the people who survive are properly compensated. And we've got so locked in this E-Day fix that it's all about apportioning blame. The first job is to make sure that the people who are hurt are better off, are genuinely compensated. That's the first job. But that job seems to be coming so low down the list of priorities. And what does that mean? It means that the government can turn around and say, well, we're getting on with it. We're getting on with it. We're not. We found many ruses to avoid doing the right thing. And that, frankly, is regrettable and morally wrong. It's like somebody who borrows money and finds excuse after excuse not to pay back. And the person who's lent the money is scrabbling around looking at how they're going to pay the rent for the next month or how to pay the mortgage for the next month because they are short, because their generosity has been abused. It's got nothing to do with the other person's plans. It's to do with the principle of honour. And it's about honour. And honour is missing in Britain today.